Hi, everybody. I'm Tommy from New York, and I'm joined by my friend Aaron from Arkansas. Hey, Aaron.
Hello, everyone.
So, he and I were talking, and we decided that maybe it would be a good idea to kind of do an intro episode just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing with this podcast. Please be patient. We don't know what we're doing. I'm actually not Zoom savvy at all, and that's what we're using to try and do this.
Rule,
So,
no- Rule number one of broadcasting, Tommy. You're not supposed to tell them you don't know what you're doing. You're just supposed to fake
why?
it. You're just supposed to fake it until you make it.
I think it'll endear them to us if they think that we don't know what we're doing. They'll be
Maybe
kinder
so.
in the comments. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of talk about how we came up with this idea and just kind of give you a background of what shows we like and what we grew up watching and why we love soaps. So Aaron, what was the first show that you started watching?
The first one that I remember is going to be Days of Our Lives, but I'm pretty sure the first one I probably watched was Young and the Restless because we always had our specific schedule. At 10
Okay.
o'clock, you watched Price is Right. 11 o'clock, you watched The Young and the Restless. 12 was the news. 12:30 was Days, and then Another World right after that. So I'm pretty sure Young and the Restless was probably the first soap I watched, but Days is the first one I loved and remembered.
Okay, so consciously Days is the first one that you
Long
remember.
story short.
Okay. So here in New York, I guess the schedule is a little bit different. Um, The Young and the Restless comes on at 12:30 here,
What?
and Days comes on at 1, or it used to come on at 1 for years, probably since it started. So half of The Young and the Restless would be kind of competing with Days here. And then at 1:30, The Bold and the Beautiful would come on, so that would kind of be competing with the second half of Days of Our Lives. Um, but yeah, so my first soap, daytime soap, would be Days of Our Lives. But if we're being technical, I guess Beverly Hills 90210, I would say is the first soap that I watched at the age of 7.
Well, I know mine was Days because my first memory is Vivian or like rolling around on Carly's grave, just all happy because her plan of getting rid of Carly worked. And I know that was 93. So I was 5. I probably shouldn't have been watching that. That could be where my fear of being stuck in a coffin comes from.
See, I wasn't allowed to watch soap operas growing up, which I think is probably why I love them so much now because it was like forbidden.
Oh, it was like
So,
our stories were like our family. When Mrs. Horton died, I think we all cried in my family because she was like a
uh,
grandmother.
see, my grandmother and my mom were NBC fans, so they watched Another World and Days of Our Lives. My grandmother was like devastated when Another World ended, but she watched Passions for the first couple of years out of habit, just because it came on in the Another World time slot.
See, I was so
So,
excited for Passions because that was the first soap opera that started during my, like, I started with it. Like all the other
mm,
shows had been on for 15, 20 years before I was born. So
yeah.
Passions was like one of those, the first ones I watched that I got to be there from beginning till almost the end. I didn't switch over to direct TV.
So you only watched till 2007. You didn't watch the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
year.
I didn't get to see the ending.
Well, you watched longer than I did. I think I bailed around 2002. I think I only watched the first 2 or 3 years.
I mean, the same
Um,
storylines were probably going on during that time and the ending. It was a very slow moving soap, but I love Teresa. That was
it was not what I expected. I think I thought the same as you. It was exciting to kind of get in on a new soap opera from the beginning because there's no new soap operas coming out now in daytime. So it was like a unique thing at the time. But they were very secretive, I feel like, about the supernatural aspect at first. I mean, they had Timmy and Tabitha, but like the town didn't really know like that she was a witch and that Timmy was alive. And then as the years went by, it just kind of became like a known thing. Like, oh yeah, there's zombies in the closet.
Tabitha's
So it
house
went
has
from
a
being
portal to
like,
hell.
that's not real, to oh yeah, it's just everyday thing.
I think they should have just went full force and just really played into it. That's my
Well, James
opinion.
Riley, that's his mind.
I mean, you loved him or you
Playing
hate
the
him.
devil possession on days and then creating passions.
Oh, I watched the summer of Marlena's possession. I watched like this. I remember like we would sit there in our swimming suits because we didn't leave the house to go to the pool until days was over. But I remember like just being like this as a kid,
See, I
terrified.
just watched that for the first time maybe 2 years ago, and it still holds up. I
It's
mean,
good. Oh
special
yeah.
effects are like to be desired, but it's still pretty good for a daytime soap.
I mean, I'm a fan of camp, and I feel like those type stories in daytime are very campy, so I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
for
like
cheesy
over the top and
effects.
campy. Like, I like to have fun with it. So that's why I always say I watch a lot of shit. So if I turn it off, then it must be bad.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I watched Melrose Place, so I can take a lot of over the top, and if it gets to a point where I'm just like, yeah, I'm thinking that's a little okay, and
You
then
don't
it's
know where your line is, but you know when you crossed it. Melrose is another one I didn't watch when it was on. I knew it was a spinoff of 90210, and I love 90210. So when they started releasing it on DVD, I just bought it blindly. And the first season's a little rough to
oh
get through.
yeah, the first 13 episodes are just kind of like you got to stick with it. I don't know how it lasted. I really don't know how it made a season two because they were trying to do those standalone episodes where it was kind of just
Mhm.
like, but that just wasn't working. Melrose was best when it went full on, pulling your wig off, seeing a big old scar down your head, someone dying in the pool. That's when Melrose was at its best.
I mean, some might argue it didn't get good till Heather Locklear came on, but it started to get good when who played Joe?
Um, Daphne,
Daphne Zuniga.
thank you. She's on my favorite show, One Tree Hill. So when she came on, I was like, oh yes.
It started to get good then. I mean, it still was kind of dragging, but she definitely brought some life into the show.
Mhm.
Um, Even the first few episodes with Heather were kind of rough to watch. I would say season two, like from the premiere on, is when it really got good.
That's what Hope was in that season too, playing a madam. And I just love seeing her
Oh, from
play
Days,
some.
yeah.
Yeah, I just love seeing her playing something totally different.
uh, Stephen Nichols was her pimp, I believe. Patch from Days,
Oh my god, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go and watch that again because I don't remember that.
or maybe he wasn't her pimp, but he was a client of hers. He
Huh.
was in a couple of episodes with her when they were recruiting Sydney.
Oh, Sydney. Bless her heart.
But all right, we're doing a deep dive into Melrose, and that's not
That's not even the
that's
episode.
not the point of what this was. So anyway, Aaron and I both clearly love our soaps, and that's actually kind of how we became friends, just talking about Days and One Tree Hill and any other soap in between. And literally 2 days ago, we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we did a podcast? And within 24 hours, he had a new microphone. And this was Saturday, and now this is Monday, and we're already recording.
Thank you, Amazon Prime.
Was that an official plug? Should Amazon pay us?
Oh, I wish.
So yeah, we're basically just doing this for fun because we were already talking about soaps to begin with. So we figured, why not just do a project and have like a little, hobby?
Mm.
So please bear with us while we work out the kinks and decide what we actually want to do with this.
Oh yeah, because I would love to have guests on or other soap fans on that we can talk to because I love hearing people talk about soaps. Some of my best memories with my family are just us sitting around talking about our stories, and we'd be like, "Who are you talking about?" And they're like, "Days." It's one of those things where it blurs the line between why are you so invested in a show when your family. But that was just our thing. We love talking about Days of Our Lives. We still do. We'll be driving in the car, next thing you know, someone's going, "Did you watch Days? Kristen has another mask. Like, how does she have so many masks?" I'm like, I don't know.
So what do we have lined up for our first official episode?
We are going to be talking about Dallas and Dynasty, which are, in my opinion, two of the greatest guilty pleasures of the 70s and the 80s. Is those two shows. Like, they define to me primetime soaps. If it wasn't for those shows, we probably wouldn't have a lot of the like shows that we have nowadays, because they really feed from those shows. I mean,
Probably not.
I'm a
'Cause those two
Dynasty
shows were definitely known for their cliffhangers, which is a staple of soaps. So I really think that you're right, that they definitely paved the way for what came after and what we see today. I mean, if you really think about it, almost every show is a soap at this point,
has some kind of form of soap elements to it.
unless it's a procedural or a reality TV, which some consider to be soaps in themselves. Um, every show is basically a continuing story. They're not really standalone episodes at this point. So
I'm not
they
really
won't admit that they're a soap, but they are.
not really a fan of standalone episodes. Like, it's okay
No,
if it's a crime show. I'll occasionally watch like Criminal Minds or that, but I always go back to my soaps because I love the ongoing story, the story development, or the character development and things like that. Like, I really like getting to know the characters.
I do too, and it makes you kind of enjoy the show more when there's consistency and they can kind of call back to things that happen. Not something happens in the episode and then they never speak of it again.
Which we do that in soap sometimes too.
Well, yeah,
But Days has been doing a really good job of like pulling from those little history, like something that happened in the past. Like, Sammy dressed up as Stan again recently, and Chloe's all, "Don't I know you?" And I was like, oh, I love when they kind of connect it to the past and don't like forget stuff.
I have this theory. I don't know if I've ever really expressed it online on Twitter, but you know how in comic books they have different universes and sometimes they stick to one timeline. And so my theory is with each head writer, they kind of pick and choose which era they want to ignore or acknowledge. And I feel like the show's current writer is just taking everything from every head writer and everything's canon. So
So we have a
nothing's
multiverse of
ever.
we have a multiverse of soaps. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, he brought Adrian and Bonnie Lockhart together, which was
Amazing.
it's
Because they
and
never
it's
acknowledged that
funny
they were the
because
same person
yeah,
or that they looked alike.
like all those years Bonnie was there, no one has said anything about, "Oh, you look kind of similar to Adrian," but now it's like, "You look just like Adrian." But I love it. That's the point of soaps. It's fun. It's not supposed to be realistic. If it
No,
was
and that's the
realistic,
kind
it'd
of camp
probably
I
be
like.
fun.
I like that campy, cheeky, like let's make fun of ourselves, kind of breaking the fourth wall, like winking to the
Mhm.
audience. Like we know you know, but we're just gonna acknowledge it a little bit.
I will say though, Kristen Demara has too many masks. I think it's finally got to that line of mine where I'm like, okay, girl, you can't have a mask for. Well, then again, I got a mic in 24 hours, so maybe she could. But
She is a Demera. She has money.
she,
She can get anything she wants.
I don't know how much you've watched so far, but Kate pretending to be Kristen, pretending to be Kate was just, or however, I loved it. Kate had these like very Kristen Demara, like it's like she
I
really
watched
studied
some of
her.
it.
I was like, ooh, go Kate.
I tuned in for the Stan episode, so I got to see Kate pretending to be Kristen, pretending to be Kate.
Yeah, however you want to.
I don't know if I said that right, but yeah.
So, but they're
All
really
right,
cool. So,
so I guess we'll wrap this up because this went on a little bit longer than I expected it
uh-huh.
to. But so in our first episode, we're going to be watching the pilot episodes of the original Dallas, the 2012 Dallas, original Dynasty, and the 2017 Dynasty. and we're gonna kind of compare and contrast the similarities, what we liked, what we didn't like, which one we thought was better than the other. And yeah, that's pretty much it, right?
I think so. You got it. I mean,
All
I'm
right.
excited. I love
So
those are two shows I love. And I watch them, I watch episodes all the time. I love it. So I'm so excited to kind of have to talk about this with someone else.
yeah. And like you said, maybe we'll make some new friends and they'll want to be guests on the show.
Yeah, because a lot of times our opinion kind of goes together with a lot of similarities. That's kind of how we became friends, was because we like the same shows, the same kind of storylines and things like that. Where, however, you're a Bold and Beautiful fan, and I try to watch new episodes and I just can't do it. I was like, if I thought the acting was bad, like it just,
Well,
I don't know what it was. Maybe I caught it on a bad day, but I was getting very passion vibes. So I don't know if that's just me.
I wouldn't say I'm a Bold and the Beautiful fan.
And we
I
just
actually
lost
haven't watched the current show in years.
we actually just
But
lost
I've been
any Bold and
watching the
Beautiful fans we
old
had.
original episodes, and it's night and day. It's a completely different show. It was actually good. So I don't know if that has to do with the writer, the budget, the ratings. I'm not really sure. But maybe we can actually get a current Bold fan on here and have them make sense of it for us.
Yeah, or change our minds. I'm not hating on both. I'm not hating on the Bold and the Beautiful because we have 4 soaps left, and I
Oh
would
yeah, no,
never
I don't want
hate
any of them to
on
get
one of
canceled.
them. I want it to keep on going, live long and prosper. Uh, bring in a little nerd talk into the soap world, because we have 4 left. And I'm just like, oh, I get every time a renewal comes up, I get nervous. I don't know if I'm more nervous than the people who actually work on the show or what, because I'm just like, come on, Days, come on, give us one more year. We got 2 years this year, so that was a blessing in the soap world.
Yes, it was. I kind of view that as a blessing and a curse because yes, we get to breathe easy for at least a year before we start panicking again. I just hope that it doesn't make the writers get lazy to the point where the show
Yeah,
gets bad and then they're like, oh shit, we're up for renewal. We got to do something. Like, I just wanted to stay consistently good.
that's true. Okay.
So we'll see what
Fair point.
happens.
Fair point. Okay. See, we can ramble about soaps forever.
All right, guys. So thanks for joining us. Hopefully, we didn't bore you to tears. And hopefully, you'll give us a listen / look on the YouTube channel.
Or the Facebook. No,
Facebook. I don't know. He's in charge of all this, so I don't know.
I'm working on it.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.